Monitoring and results. Once restored, native grasslands require continuous monitoring and management to prevent undesirable grass and woody species from establishing and to promote greater diversity and health of the grassland. Our project implements a short-term and long-term monitoring program. Studies have demonstrated that short-term monitoring of plant community composition alone incorrectly predicted the failure of treatments that were ultimately successful and the success of treatments that ultimately failed. Short-term monitoring for our restoration project will be recorded data that is used to document and, where possible, adjust factors that may affect restoration success. Long-term monitoring will be used to evaluate restoration success, to adjust restoration objectives, and to adapt the management strategy. Our monitoring plan is designed to monitor vegetation composition along with soil and site stability and hydrologic function. By supplementing vegetation composition indicators with more than one ecological process indicator allows our managers to more accurately predict long-term restoration success based on short-term data. I would like to start by briefly summarizing the adaptive management cycle. Generally, the adaptive management process involves defining a problem, defining potential management alternatives, predicting the expected system response to those management alternatives, implementing the management, and evaluating the results. Based on the monitoring data collected, future decisions can be adapted to best meet the goals of the project. So, our monitoring protocol provides data in support of our prairie operations and provides the framework to support this adaptive management process. Through monitoring, we will be able to evaluate whether or not our goals are achieved, and if they are not being met, then monitoring will be key to determine our next course of action, either through alternatives or through additional things we can do. Here are some monitoring techniques included in our plan. Photo points, an inexpensive and quick method for monitoring changes in ecological site conditions. Cover surveys will be used to determine the amount of woody, forb, and grass cover and bare ground, which will aid in decision-making for habitat management. Erosion over time will be used to manage soil and site stability. Precipitation records will be collected year-round to determine if changes in landscape cover are caused by weather patterns rather than our management practices. And finally, monitoring wells will be installed to measure groundwater hydrology. The data collected during monitoring will be the key to determining if we achieved our overarching goal to restore mismanaged rangeland and agricultural areas towards self-sustaining tallgrass prairie ecosystems. Some of the questions our monitoring data will answer are listed here. One disturbance we are monitoring against is fragmentation. Land fragmentation can increase the chances of exotic plant species invasions and alters landscape scale processes, including species immigration and emigration onto our project site. Utilizing monitoring protocols to determine status and trends in plant species composition and community structure will ensure we achieve success against fragmentation. Our monitoring techniques include elements such as species richness and diversity, and the relative abundance, frequency, distribution, and ground cover of community structure. Protocols such as photo point and cover surveys are used in support of this element. Like monitoring for success against fragmentation, we are also using our monitoring data collected on plant species composition and community structure to help ensure success against invasive species. Invasive plants can greatly alter ecosystem processes and displace native communities. Here we have pictures of eastern red cedar and rough-leaf dogwood that represent a threat to our restoration site as they invade, encroach, and convert our grasslands to wood and shrublands. Our protocols, such as cover surveys, precipitation records, and monitoring wells, will provide the data required to manage for this element.